Changing the brakes on the Giulia Quadrifoglio is pretty simple. I think the pads are about $100 for the rear, about 136 for the front. This is the rear brake job. The other one is on my YouTube page. Go check it out. You can see it. A couple of tools, a little bit of knowledge, a couple jack stands and jack, and you can do this yourself and save a few $100s. Every YouTube video I start usually starts off with me walking out into the garage. But today, I'm actually gonna go see what the old doggy's up to before I get started on this new cool project.
Yes, he's out there chasing the geese off the backyard and probably sniffing goose poop. That's what Petey does. Well, while the dog's out back eating goose poop, I am gonna get busy on a couple little projects here. So I need to do the rear brakes on the Alpha. I didn't mean to be so zoomed in there. So rear brakes are due for replacement, fronts are done. By the way, this video is sponsored by Alpha 9 Supply. If you look at all the cool Koshi stuff that we have on this car, this all came from Matt Levette, Alpha 9 Supply. Even the oil change we just got, and even the EBC rear yellows that we got on here, we got from Alpha 9. Matt's a great guy in Colorado, central part of the US. I love that because when I get done with my day, he's still working for another hour or two and I can get with him on stuff. So today we're gonna jump in, fast motion. You'll see us change the rear brakes. Now, a couple little things on the Alpha. When you service the brakes, you gotta go in the MMI, let it know that you're gonna service it so you don't lock up the rear the rear e-brake. If you do, you're gonna have a pain in the ass, as everybody has said. Should be relatively easy. We're gonna get the car up on some lift stands initially, and then I've got some bolts and stuff I'm gonna put in to tighten up this rear bumper as we finish. So I got a few things going on at once. What tools do you need? Well, you know what? If you're doing this yourself, mechanically inclined, you should figure it out, but I know you will need a punch pin, and then you're gonna need a socket or two. The rear caliper has to come completely out to be able to change those brake pads, and we'll get that on video and talk through it a little bit. But you're gonna need some tools, and I'm not gonna be that guy that says, hey, you're gonna need these tools. Just, you know, follow along and I'll tell you what tools that I use. Something always funny on these cars. This car is lowered and I have the side skirts on, so sometimes I can't always get my jack on the jack points, and looks like I can on this one. Find where it's at here, make sure it's gonna reach. I don't want to destroy any carbon fiber, and I don't want to destroy the jack points, so let's just see if, nope, that is not gonna work. So I was afraid of that, so instead of destroying my carbon fiber, we're gonna roll this car up on some ramps and start with that. Don't worry, we will get a jack stand up underneath here. I'm just making sure this thing's gonna come up off here okay. And let me show you what we do for the car to make sure that we can service our brakes. The first things we're gonna do is install some wheel chocks here to make sure that this old car don't roll forward. One of the other things we're gonna do is make sure we get a jack stand in there set up, so if this thing were to fall, it falls just on the jack stand and that we are well protected. Now let's hop in the car, keep your foot off the brake, turn the car on. See, we got all this great stuff going on in here. And
interference detection active.
Oh yeah. Okay, turn all that off. Except, go to car. Oops, wrong one. Hold on. Let's get our CarPlay. Back up one. Go to settings. And I do believe this is under. Gotta find it. Come on, wake up here. I think it's under. Take me just a minute here. I might edit this. I may not. Driver's doors and locks, driver's assistance, brake service. Would you like to retract parking brakes, allow brake system service? Yes. Ooh. Release the parking brake. Service electronic brake. All right, so we have it set up. So let's just go ahead and power it off. And we are. I'm not going to tell you everything that we're going to do step by. Well, I'm going to tell you, but I'm not going to show you everything we're going to do step by step. I'm going to put this in fast motion. So I'm going to remove the tire right? So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the wheel and tire completely off of this. The brakes are set up in service mode. I'm gonna release the rear caliper off of here, and I've got this support down here to be able to lay it on. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go and take the pads out. I'm gonna compress the pistons out. I'm gonna open up the hood and just relieve the pressure on the caps. I know I've got some fluid that's gonna back up in there when I do, and I'm gonna get it pressed completely out. And then I'll come back and talk to you about what we're gonna do then. So without further ado, fast motion, here we go. Okay, interesting turn of events. These are obviously, well, no, maybe those aren't Allens. Hold on a second. Ironically enough, it's a T55, or looks like I could get away with a 3/8 inch Allen. Looks like both of them fit, but I'm gonna go with the Torx because I think the Torx is the proper one to use here. Okay, relatively simple here. Long bolt bottom. I have disconnected my ABS sensor, it's right here. Yellow speeds don't come with a ABS sensor connector, so we're actually gonna seal that off so we don't get any moisture or anything inside of it. So we'll do that, number one, but number two, the second thing we're going to do is tie that up and out of the way so it doesn't get messed up anywhere. So just in order. So top bolt, bottom bolt, I've got them laid out. And this caliper, you might have to get in here with a screwdriver and release a little bit of the pressure, but this caliper should just literally roll right off there. So give me 1 second. Let me grab a screwdriver. Okay, one of the first things I do when I get these, by the way, I lied, check it out. The new yellow stuffs actually come with the ABS sensor. That is a newbie. This is why you buy from a guy like Matt Levette, and you buy from somebody that knows these cars. Now the thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this real quick, and by the way, these have an abrasive pad. They don't require any break-in because that pad's going to break the pad in itself. But I'm just going to look and make sure that these are the right pads. And by the way, incidentally, it looks like they are an exact fit. I've gone through this before on other cars, and even this car, and I got the wrong pads initially. So you just want to double check, make sure you got the right pads. And I'm going to show you my method here in just a second on retracting this caliper. So give me one second. We're going to be compressing this caliper. So come to the front of the vehicle, and right here's your brake reservoir. And I'm going to do two things. I'm actually going to take the top off of this and make sure, look and see how much fluid I got in there so I don't overfill it. And I'm just going to run this back just a little bit. This is hydrophobic, so it will suck moisture in there, which is not a good thing. And as I compress these calipers, the fluid is going to compress back up in there as well. So all the travel that I've got on these pistons is going to push fluid back up in there. So I've got a little evacuation system if I need to go back and suck some of it out. But you can see these pads are pretty much gone. So watch what I do. Simple, quick test fit, and my pads fit, and these EBCs even come with the sensor. So I'm gonna grab some brake part lubricant. I'm gonna make sure that I lubricate the back of these so we don't get any squeaking, and I'm gonna get my pins reset and get this ready to go back. One big difference between the fronts and the rears is the retaining spring stays in. It doesn't come out. It's actually held by the caliper itself. You can see we've painted these. My pins are all the way in. I'm gonna seat that one a little bit more. I'm gonna cut that zip tie out, take this guy out. I'm gonna route that guy up there, get ready to plug in for the rear side. Not sure if you caught all that. I did, I'm actually gonna cut this zip tie loose and give myself a little bit more slack here on these EBC, this brake line here. So that slides down on there and locks in place like that. And I'm actually gonna zip tie it across like this. So I've got plenty of zip ties. Somebody's probably saying, why are you using orange?
Well, because the smallest ones available that I have right now are orange. So I'm just gonna, hey, if you got it, you go with it. So I'm gonna keep that up and out of the way. And I am just gonna zip tie both of these across on the angle right there. That one's held there. Yeah, this would be good right here. So we will do this, give a little bit more room for that to flex, and zip tie that one on there, which would be great. That's going to hold in place. And this side is done. The only thing I have to do is make sure that I find the torque spec, and we will get these tightened and in place. Although I don't think that that's going to go anywhere, so I'm probably going to yell at me. So this side is good to go. I'll repeat everything on the other side. We got brand new yellow speeds in here. Everything is back together. And I will drop the car down to get the other side done. Things that make you go, huh, that's a first. So I'm gonna have to figure that one out. It's gonna be fun. Okay, after one being done, just gonna pop my cap here. Gonna look and make sure that we are not overflowing, and we are not, which is a good thing. Roll my cap back down on here. Again, this is hydrophobic. I'll come back and open it up again when I get ready to compress the other caliper. Okay, we are set. All the wheels are back on. I'm gonna do one thing here. Just gonna get ready. By the way, I already went and verified 100% that my fluid did not overflow in my brake reservoir, and I tightened up my cap and I put my cover back on, so we are all set there. My wheel chock was right up against there, so that will tell you, just FYI, that the emergency brake is not on this car as I'm jacking it up, moving it around. So, show you a couple things here that are gonna happen. Let's just go in and let me grab my key, because it's sitting here on the ground. And you will see I'm gonna get a whole bunch of stuff yelling at me. So that's not what I wanted to do, by the way. Let's go back on. All right. Yep, turn off our parking sensors. Close.
Interference detection.
Parking brake
Active.
activated. Reset, press brake pedal and activate brake service. Okay. All right. To exit service mode, must be in motion. All right. Close. All right. Must not be in motion. Okay, it's not. Close. No. Let's go back one. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Close. Okay, activate parking brake switch. You can hear it. And I just started. Brake service, parking brake reset, brake service complete, close. And we will come out of that. We'll turn the power off. And then let's start this up and see. Sometimes it likes to yell at me about ABS. Nope, nothing. So let's go ahead and roll this. Okay, everything is reset, no issues. And we will drive off of our ramps and power back down. We are all done. Alrighty, that took up, I don't know, about an hour, but I was working around doing other stuff. So I forget it gets dark earlier. So pull out my ramps. Got all these tools I need to put away, and we will go bed in our brakes in just a second. Okay, the only casualty I have is a lug nut, and I got to figure out why the hell that happened. It's okay, I got a replacement. I'm not going to do it now, but later on, actually, I need the trash can back. Later on, I'll actually weld to that guy, and we will get it broken loose out of there. I have no idea why it snapped. Maybe replacing a hub or retapping a screw. I'm not totally sure. That's a long video for you to watch me moving the trash can, but it is what it is. So sorry. Let's take this thing for a test drive. Okay, here we go. It's actually pretty cool. I think I got the radio on, so it's not messing with it. I am not too worried about this. The thing about the rears is they're not as primary as the fronts, and I know people argue that with me and whatever. But majority of the braking power comes from the front brakes. But with these EBC yellow stuffs, they've got a abrasive on there that will actually bed them to the rotor. So, you know, they got a couple different ways of doing this, and they say you want to go through heat cycles, so I can actually go through. I'm not going to walk you through everything that I need to do, but I think I'll pull it up and look it up in just a second as I get going, but I think you're building increasing heat in the pads as you do it. So EBC's got a great set of instructions. I didn't read them, but I will look them up here in just a second when I come to the bottom of this hill and brake and park. Hopefully we'll stop. Oh my God, I've hit the brake, we're not going to stop. No, I'm just kidding. So brakes work absolutely perfect. So, but what we want to do is we want to get some heat into those rears and get the rears bedded in, even though these are pretty simple to do. All right, we have gone through the 3 sets of speeds and the heat cycles on these. And now what we'll do is we'll drive around normal. So we've done all 3 micro heat sets, as I like to call them. It's probably not the appropriate term for them. By the way, I know that you saw in the video, one of the last things that we did was we made sure we torqued all of our wheels back on. We're missing a lug nut there, which isn't too killer, but I'm not going to go too far on this car without fixing it. That'd be a job for me tomorrow night. I'll weld a nut to it, and I will pull it off. By the way, the brakes work just impeccably on this car. I can't swear enough by the yellow stuffs. They're great. Again, huge shout out to Matt Levette at Alpine Supply. Thanks so much for the hookup. As always, anything we need for our Alpha, typically we go to Matt. We get it from Matt first. If Matt can't get it, then we check other sources. But I like to keep the Alpha community alive and well. So Matt's a great resource for this car. I've been using it for pretty much everything, and he's who I stick with. I will stick with on all the stuff that I need for this car. Great guy. Reach out to if you need anything. Alpine Supply. Y'all have a great day. We are gonna turn around here in just a minute and head back to the house. Brakes are working great, by the way.